Listen, y'all, we have all heard the whole President Trump is dead that has been circulating over social media. I mean, it has been everywhere. X, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, probably WhatsApp, probably all these different places, right? And it didn't help that as we're seeing these things being spread all across social media, then you have Vice President J.D. Vance come out talking about how he's ready to step up and take on the role of president. Those two things don't really help anything. Then the fact that President Trump has been visibly missing for days on end, a lot of people have talked about, right? Yes, there have been posts on social media, whether it's on Truth Social or shared over on X, especially the one where he was talking about how the landscapers at the White House in the Rose Garden, I believe, how they messed up the limestone pathway. He did this whole thing. In theory, it was President Trump, right? Well, today, there's the picture that has come out that says, finally, after 3 or 4 days, President Trump has been spotted. And they show this picture, and it's a very, very grainy picture. It's from far away. It's not very up close. But even that picture from far away, I myself, as much as I don't want to listen to all the, rumble that's going on, I myself saw the blurry, faded picture, and I was like, something doesn't look right. Like, he looks very puffy. That's the only word I could really think of. And trust me, as a female who has, periods and things like that and bloating, ladies especially, you understand that some days you do not look like yourself. You look puffy as all get out, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just your body. And maybe men go through it too after a certain age, right? And maybe that's what's going on here. But there's this picture I want to show you of, on the left side, you will see this is what the picture of President Trump looks like that people have taken today. It's been shared all over social media. And then on the right is the enhanced version where in theory they have zoomed in and taken out all the graininess and whatsoever. Tell me that this looks normal to you, because I want to know, what do we think here? All right. Let's go like this. This is the grainy photo, all right, from far away. And even that in and of itself, something looks wrong. Where are your teeth? Where is your neck? Where is your jaw? What is happening here? What is going on with here with like the Cro-Magnon brow? Then you look at the enhanced version, which I think is a little exaggerated. I'm not going to lie. It feels a little exaggerated, but it very much gives mask. It gives fake. It gives not real. And it's very concerning, especially when after this goes up, you hear that President Trump is going to make an announcement from the Oval Office on Tuesday. And you're like, okay, well, obviously he's fine then. If he's going to make an announcement from the Oval Office on Tuesday, tomorrow at 2:00, in theory, we should see President Trump. But it's still very interesting to me, this picture of him and not knowing exactly what is going on. I fully believe that there are body doubles for every single big name out there, whether it's presidential, vice presidential, if you're a Schumer or a Elizabeth Warren, if you are just an actor, whatever, Bill Gates even. I feel like there are body doubles for everybody. I feel like there are masks for everybody. So it can be one of those, look, he's here, but really he's over there. Misdirection. I don't know if this is misdirection. I don't know what's going on here. I do know that when enough people are posting that the president is dead, that is very concerning. Numerous reasons. Let me explain to this. Numerous reasons. I posted a video in July of last year regarding President Trump. Regarding President Biden at the time. And I remember saying how we hadn't seen him forever. And I was like, is he deceased? And I labeled it as a question, and YouTube took my video down because they were like, no, this is not factual information. I'm like, well, I wasn't stating it as fact. I was asking a question. However, there are numerous videos right now circulating YouTube and other social media sites where it states that President Trump is dead. That's what they have stated. That is what they are saying in their titles. And those videos have not been removed. And because I know for a fact that they will remove a video like that if they believe that there's any untruth to a title, because AI can't really understand a question mark or understand when it's being like asked of you or suggested or whatever. If it's said as a statement and it's not real, they'll take it away. Yet there's plenty of videos out there right now that are stating this as a fact, and those videos are still up. There are articles, there are headlines, there are posts all over the place that are stating this, and they're still up. And that gives me a little bit of trepidation, I think might be the right word, wondering if something is actually going on, because just the timing of everything is crazy weird, right? I don't want to believe that, but they're going to go, oh, well, remember he was pictured with the bruises on his hand and the makeup on his hand. And there's been issues. You saw him stumble up the stairs to Air Force One. We made fun of Biden when he did it. Of course, we're not going to make fun of Trump when he does it, because that's our president, right? Not the other one. But it is true. He stumbled up the stairs. We haven't seen him in a couple of days. He hasn't been nearly as active on social media as he generally is. And it makes you kind of step back and go, okay, is this something we need to be worried about? Is there something going on? This announcement on Tuesday, is it going to be President Trump, or is it in regards to President Trump? There's a lot of stuff that when it comes to the government, I don't fully trust, and I know y'all don't either. Even though we are grateful that President Trump is our president, I still don't fully trust the government. It doesn't matter who's at the helm of it. There's still all the people in the background that have a lot to do with everything. But all I'm saying, y'all, that picture of him, the grainy one, is either not him, and we're supposed to believe it is. And if that's the case, why? Or it is him, and there's something physically going on that is causing him to look that way, because that could either be, maybe it's an allergic reaction to something. Maybe he's on some medications. Maybe he is sick. Maybe there is something going on here. But I don't feel like we ever really get the real answer to anything. We still don't really have the truth on Jeffrey Epstein. We don't have the truth on a lot of different things. We don't have the truth on East Palestine, Ohio. And even President Trump posts about it, that there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of things that we do not have the truth on, that we may never have the truth on. That video of Hillary Clinton, remember back in the day where they were like, oh no, she just had the flu or something, but it looks like she was dragged into the back of a van and then carted off somewhere. Bill Clinton, he had started having the shakes like Parkinson's or whatever else, and suddenly he's fit as a fiddle again. Very interesting times here. President Barack Obama's secret gay lover, at least they said, passed away today. Very interesting timing there too. All these different things that we will never know the truth about because we're not privy to it. Diddy, the whole Diddy thing, they swept that shit under the rug real quick. We know there was a lot going on, but suddenly nobody's talking about it anymore. There's a thing also earlier I was looking at that said, has anybody noticed how none of the hurricanes have made landfall? We've had a very quiet hurricane season now that President Trump is in office. When Biden was in office, we had hurricanes left and right that were destroying numerous locations, North Carolina, Florida, a lot of places that happen to have lithium and whatnots that maybe Kamala's husband had a hand in because, investments and whatnot. But suddenly now everything is fine. Maybe because President Trump came in and turned off all the machines that were used to make weather worse or to direct weather. Who knows? I'm just saying that's the stuff that's being talked about. We will never know the truth about anything. We are peons. We are peasants. We are nothings in the whole scheme of thing when it comes to the government and the puppets and the strings that are being pulled and everything that's happening in the background. We are just here. We are mere mortals amongst whatever these people consider themselves to be. I am very curious to see what happens on Tuesday. I just saw it, which is why we're talking about it now. I'm very curious to see what happens on Tuesday. This is my question for y'all, because I don't want to be one of those who goes, oh no, President Trump's dead. I don't think that's the case. I do think there's something weird going on here, the whole situation. I think there's something a little iffy going on. But here's my question. If, big if, hopefully no, right, something were to be wrong with President Trump, are you confident in Vice President J.D. Vance enough that if he were to take over and was now sitting president, that you think he would carry on in the same trajectory that President Trump has been going with? Do you think he would take us where President Trump wants to see us go in the next 3.5 years? Or do you think that something would go awry and we might not end up with making America great again if J.D. Vance is at the helm? I'm just kind of curious how people feel, because in the very beginning of the presidency, and especially like running for president and VP, everybody was very gung-ho for J.D. Vance. And I like the way he talks to people in interviews. I like the way he speaks his mind. I like the way he shuts people down. But I don't know if he is presidential material at this point. He has not been vice president long enough for me to know if he had to step into the shoes, the role of the commander in chief. Could he do it? Is he ready? will he do what is necessary to follow in Trump's footsteps? Or is it possible that he could unfortunately like go the wrong way and err on the side of more Democrat thinking and whatnot? Because in the beginning, you guys will remember when he was in Ohio, he was not a fan of President Trump until suddenly he was. So these are questions that I think about. These are questions that I have, and I thought I'd bring them to you to see what you think, because it's worth pondering and it's worth looking into and thinking about, because you just never know what's really going on in the background of politics, right? So that's all. ST Talks, my Squirrel Tribe peeps. I love y'all immensely. Love to hear your thoughts on this one down below. Let me know. And then tomorrow, I guess we'll see what's what, 2 o'clock. I'm assuming that is Eastern time. We'll see. Until then, bye-bye.